Bardock stands before the flickering green glow of the incubation chamber, his eyes narrowed as he monitors the erratic readings on the scouter. The sterile atmosphere of the Saiyan laboratory is punctuated by the rhythmic thrumming of life support systems, yet it is the infant inside who commands his full attention. Kakarot's power levels do not merely fluctuate. They spike with a terrifying intensity that defies Saiyan biological norms, even while the child remains in a state of deep slumber. Bardock senses a latent, freaky power brewing within his son, a potential so vast it threatens to shatter the glass of the container. He realizes that this boy is no mere low-class warrior, but a prodigy whose strength might one day eclipse every other member of their warrior race. The weight of the impending destruction of planet Vegeta hangs heavy in the air, as Bardock prepares the small space pod for its departure into the dark void of the cosmos. He looks at Kakarot one last time, fueled by a desperate hope that this child will be the one to survive the coming genocide, and eventually face the tyrant Frieza. There is a grim confidence in the father's heart, believing that the extraordinary potential he witnessed in the incubation chamber will serve as the ultimate weapon of vengeance. As the pod's engines ignite with a blinding light, the small vessel streaks away from the doomed world, carrying the future of the Saiyan race toward the distant, unsuspecting planet Earth. Upon landing on the lush green world of Earth, the infant Kakarot experiences a life-altering accident that reshapes the destiny of the universe. He falls from a great height and strikes his head against the jagged rocks, an event that would have killed a normal child but instead serves to suppress the violent, chaotic rage inherent to his Saiyan heritage. This trauma acts as a mental dam, holding back the overwhelming flood of his legendary power and allowing him to grow into the pure-hearted, cheerful boy known as Goku. While his incredible potential remains buried deep within his subconscious, it manifests as an uncanny ability to master martial arts at a speed that baffles his masters and peers alike. Years later, the journey to the planet Namek serves as the catalyst for Goku's dormant powers to begin their inevitable ascent to the surface. Inside his specialized training vessel, the air is heavy and suffocating as he pushes himself through grueling exercises under the crushing weight of intense artificial gravity. Goku feels his muscles screaming in protest, yet he is energized by a growth in strength that is far beyond anything he has ever experienced before. Each drop of sweat that falls to the floor represents another barrier broken, and he finds himself genuinely impressed by the sheer velocity of his own advancement. He realizes that he is becoming something far greater than a standard warrior, though he does not yet understand the true nature of the beast sleeping within his soul. When the battle on Namek finally erupts, Captain Ginyu finds himself utterly bewildered by the sheer magnitude of the power radiating from his opponent. The purple-skinned captain watches in awe as Goku moves with a fluid grace and speed that makes the elite Ginyu force look like amateurs. However, the conflict takes a dire turn when Ginyu successfully executes his body change technique, only to find that he cannot tap into the true depth of Goku's mysterious strength. This leaves Goku's original body battered and broken after the subsequent struggle, necessitating his placement in a medical healing chamber. As the regenerative fluids surround him, the near-death experience triggers a massive Saiyan power boost that is amplified tenfold by his unique, legendary biology. Within the confines of the healing tank, Goku's cells undergo a violent evolution, absorbing the energy of the Namekian atmosphere and the trauma of his recent battles. When he finally emerges from the chamber, the air around him crackles with a static charge that makes the nearby observers gasp in realization. His power level has not just increased, it has skyrocketed to a staggering 10 million, a figure that far exceeds any previous expectations. While his friends Krillin and Gohan look on with a mixture of relief and astonishment, Goku senses the final moments of Vegeta's life fading away in the distance. He knows that the time for training is over, and the true nightmare is about to begin as he prepares to face the Emperor of the Universe. Goku arrives on the battlefield just as the life leaves Vegeta's eyes, and he stands firm against the diminutive but terrifying form of Frieza. The landscape of Namek is a scarred wasteland of blue grass and jagged peaks, all of which seem to tremble under the pressure of the two titans' presence. Knowing that his raw power alone is still not enough to match the tyrant's full might, Goku decides to push his body to its absolute breaking point. Goku transitions from his base form into a Kaioken times 20 state. The crimson aura of the technique erupts around Kaioken times 20 Goku, scorching the ground beneath his feet as he prepares to engage in a high-stakes gamble for the fate of the galaxy. The sheer force of Kaioken times 20 Goku's aura creates a vacuum that draws the surrounding dust into a swirling vortex of red energy. Calculations reveal that his power has reached a terrifying 200 million, a level that forces Frieza to abandon his arrogance and take the fight seriously. Frieza's eyes widen in genuine shock as he realizes this Saiyan is not just another victim, but a legitimate threat to his reign. The tyrant immediately begins to bulk up his muscles, bypassing his usual gradual displays of power to enter his 100% full power form as quickly as possible. Kaioken times 20. Goku watches the transformation with a grim expression, knowing that the strain on his heart is immense, and that he must end the fight before his stamina completely evaporates. As the two powers collide, the sky of Namek turns a dark, sickly shade of violet, and the very foundations of the planet begin to crack. Kaioken times 20. Goku maintains the upper hand, his strikes landing with the force of falling stars, yet Frieza proves to be a tenacious and desperate foe. Realizing that he cannot win a direct confrontation against the overwhelming might of Kaioken times 20 Goku, Frieza's mind twists with a malicious and cowardly strategy. He decides that if he cannot kill the Saiyan directly, he will destroy everything the Saiyan holds dear. Frieza's gaze shifts away from his opponent and toward the small group of survivors watching from the sidelines, his lips curling into a sadistic smirk. With a burst of cruel speed, Frieza ignores Kaioken times 20 Goku and lunges toward the defenseless spectators. He easily bats away Piccolo and Krillin, who are sent tumbling across the rocky terrain like discarded toys. The tyrant then seizes Gohan by the hair, hoisting the young boy into the air as a human shield and a psychological weapon. Kaioken times 20 Goku freezes in his tracks, his crimson aura flickering as a cold dread washes over him. He hears Gohan's muffled cries for help, and for the first time in his life, a darkness begins to seep into his pure heart. Frieza laughs at the Saiyan's hesitation, relishing the moment of absolute control he has over the man who dared to challenge him. Frieza places a cold, trembling hand against Gohan's back, his eyes locked onto the horrified gaze of Kaioken times 20 Goku. Without a word of warning, the tyrant unleashes a massive, point-blank energy blast that consumes the young boy in a blinding flash of purple light. When the smoke clears, there is nothing left where Gohan once stood. The boy has been completely eradicated from existence. A deafening silence falls over the battlefield, broken only by the whistling wind and the distant rumble of volcanic activity. Kaioken times 20 Goku stands perfectly still, his eyes wide and blank as the reality of his son's death shatters the last remnants of his composure. The silence is suddenly replaced by a low, guttural growl that seems to emanate from the very earth itself, as Kaioken times 20 Goku begins to tremble with a rage that transcends mortal understanding. His crimson aura is swallowed by a violent emerald-green light that radiates a heat so intense it melts the surrounding stone into slag. Kaioken times 20 Goku transcends his base limitations to become Legendary Super Saiyan Goku. The transformation is horrific and violent. His muscles swell to twice their normal size, his shirt shreds into tatters, and his golden-green hair spikes upward toward the heavens. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku towers over the landscape, his eyes devoid of pupils and his soul consumed by a singular, berserk desire for slaughter. Frieza's face pales as he looks up at the towering monstrosity he has inadvertently created, realizing too late that this is no ordinary Super Saiyan. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku moves with a speed that creates a sonic boom, shattering the eardrums of anyone nearby as he closes the distance to the tyrant. He buries a massive fist into Frieza's stomach, a blow so powerful it causes the Emperor to cough up a torrent of blood and air. Piccolo and Krillin, watching from a distance, are paralyzed by a fear that is even greater than what they felt for Frieza. They can sense that Legendary Super Saiyan Goku has lost all sense of his former self, becoming a mindless engine of destruction that knows only how to kill. While Legendary Super Saiyan Goku continues his brutal assault, Krillin and Bulma realize they must escape the immediate area before the planet itself is torn asunder. They scramble toward a nearby spaceship, their eyes fixed on the horrifying spectacle of the Saiyan warrior they once called a friend now acting like a wild animal. Piccolo, however, refuses to leave, his pride and concern for Goku keeping him rooted to the spot despite the overwhelming pressure of the green aura. He watches as Legendary Super Saiyan Goku ignores all tactical finesse, instead opting to torture Frieza with savage, uncoordinated strikes. The Namekian warrior knows that if he does not find a way to reach the man inside the monster, there will be nothing left of Namek but stardust. Frieza makes one final, desperate attempt to survive by launching a massive purple energy beam from his palms, screaming in a voice cracked with terror. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku does not even flinch, simply swatting the lethal projectile away with the back of his hand as if it were a common insect. The Saiyan Titan then lets out a roar that shakes the very stars, his mouth glowing with a concentrated sphere of lime-green energy. A massive beam of destruction erupts from Legendary Super Saiyan Goku's mouth, instantly vaporizing Frieza and carving a massive crater into the planet's surface that stretches for miles. The Emperor of the Universe is gone, reduced to nothingness by the sheer, unadulterated power of the legend. With his primary target destroyed, Legendary Super Saiyan Goku turns his empty, white gaze toward the only other living soul nearby. He lunges at Piccolo, his hand cocked back for a blow that could easily shatter a mountain. Though he subconsciously pulls the punch, the impact is still enough to launch Piccolo miles away, leaving the Namekian unconscious and broken in a heap of rubble. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku stalks toward his fallen comrade, his aura flaring with a restless, hungry energy that seeks more combat. Krillin, trembling with a fear that threatens to paralyze him, leaps out from the ship and screams at the top of his lungs, begging his best friend to remember who he is. The sound of Krillin's voice, combined with the presence of Bulma and the fallen Piccolo, creates a tiny crack in the wall of madness surrounding the warrior's mind. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku pauses, his massive frame shivering as the voice of King Kai echoes in his head, pleading for him to regain control before he destroys everything he loves. The terrifying emerald light begins to flicker and fade, the overwhelming pressure lifting from the atmosphere like a heavy shroud being removed. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku reverts from his transformed state back to his base form. Goku collapses onto the scorched earth, his body completely spent and his mind slipping into the darkness of unconsciousness as his hair returns to its natural black state. In the aftermath of the cataclysm, the Dragon Balls of Namek are used to restore the planet and bring back those who fell during the conflict, including Gohan and Vegeta. Vegeta stands over the sleeping Goku, his mind reeling from the realization that the ancient legends of his people were not only true, but embodied in the low-class Kakarot. As Goku eventually wakes and learns of the berserk state he entered, a deep sense of dread settles in his chest, knowing he nearly killed his own friends in his blind rage. He and Vegeta discuss the terrifying possibility that Gohan might also harbor this volatile, legendary power within his hybrid blood. They realize that the fight for survival is far from over, as they must now find a way to master a power that is designed for nothing but total destruction. The sun hangs heavy over the rocky wasteland where Goku and Vegeta stand, the air thick with the scent of ozone and the weight of an uncertain future. Goku remains haunted by the crimson haze of Namek, his mind replaying the moment his soul shattered and a primal, uncontrollable power took hold of his very being. He stares at his trembling hands, wondering if he is a protector, or merely a ticking time bomb waiting to level the very world he calls home. The terrifying memory of the legendary Super Saiyan's wrath lingers like a physical pressure in his chest, making every breath a chore as he considers the possibility that he might never be whole again. Vegeta watches his rival with a calculating, sharp gaze, his arms crossed over his chest as he leans against a jagged pillar of stone. He recognizes the danger gurgling beneath the surface of the other warrior, knowing that if the legendary power erupts again, the planet will likely be reduced to stardust. Despite the catastrophic risks, the prince views this as a necessary gamble, a chance to elevate his own status while keeping the monster within his rival at bay. He chooses to prioritize his own ascension, believing that if he can master a lesser version of the transformation, he might stand a chance at reigning in the chaotic storm that threatens to consume them all. The wind howls through the canyons as the two warriors begin their grueling routine, their movements a blur of precision and raw physical force. Goku tries to articulate the elusive sensation he felt before the world went dark on Namek, describing a strange, electric gathering of energy in his upper back. He explains how the power seemed to concentrate and spark, a localized inferno that ignited the transformation and wiped his consciousness clean. Vegeta listens with an intense, almost desperate focus, trying to reconcile this tingly back sensation with his own traditional understanding of Saiyan evolution and the raw emotion required to break through his limits. Months bleed into a year of relentless pursuit, the landscape scarred by their constant clashing and the discharge of their immense energies. Vegeta leaves his base form behind as he transforms into Super Saiyan Vegeta. The air around Super Saiyan Vegeta crackles with golden lightning, his hair standing tall in a defiant shimmering yellow that radiates a controlled yet overwhelming heat. Unlike his rival's berserk state, Super Saiyan Vegeta retains his sharp mind and cruel smirk, reveling in the lucidity that this newfound strength provides while he stares down at his glowing palms. The tranquility of the afternoon is shattered when a cold, oppressive shadow descends from the sky, chilling the very atmosphere of the Earth. A massive spaceship, bearing the unmistakable insignia of the Cold Force, breaks through the cloud layer and casts a long, dark pall over the countryside. Super Saiyan Vegeta senses the familiar, icy signature of a power that rivals the late Frieza, realizing immediately that the patriarch of the Galactic Empire, King Cold, has come to claim vengeance. A smirk of genuine amusement crosses the face of Super Saiyan Vegeta, who feels a surge of dark joy at the prospect of testing his perfected form against a worthy sacrificial lamb. The massive vessel touches down with a heavy thud, crushing the earth beneath its weight and sending a plume of dust into the stagnant air. As the ramp descends, a legion of elite soldiers marches out, their blasters leveled and their eyes filled with the arrogance of conquerors. Super Saiyan Vegeta does not hesitate, extending a single hand and unleashing a wave of golden fire that vaporizes the entire battalion in a fleeting, screaming second. King Cold steps into the light, his massive frame towering over the battlefield as he demands to know the fate of his son and the identity of the warrior standing before him. Super Saiyan Vegeta chuckles, his voice carrying a jagged edge of superiority as he informs the tyrant that a legend was responsible for Frieza's demise. He watches with predatory satisfaction as King Cold's expression shifts from arrogance to genuine disbelief at the mention of the legendary Super Saiyan. With a sudden, explosive flare of his golden aura, Super Saiyan Vegeta lunges forward, delivering a relentless barrage of strikes that the massive tyrant cannot hope to track. The battle is a brutal, one-sided execution, with Super Saiyan Vegeta weaving through King Cold's desperate defenses and mocking the Emperor's fading relevance with every crushing blow. The ground groans under the pressure of the conflict, the air vibrating with the hum of concentrated ki as the end draws near. Super Saiyan Vegeta leaps into the sky, silhouetted against the sun, and extends his palm toward the battered and broken King Cold. He roars the name of his ultimate technique, the Big Bang Attack, and a sphere of brilliant blue-white energy erupts from his hand to consume the tyrant. King Cold is erased from existence in a deafening flash, leaving nothing but a smoldering crater where a galactic conqueror once stood, and Super Saiyan Vegeta lands softly, his ego bolstered by the effortless slaughter. Before the dust can fully settle, a new presence manifests in the wasteland, the energy signature feeling eerily familiar, yet distinctly more weathered. A warrior clad in the orange and blue colors of the Turtle Hermit School stands before them, his gaze carrying a weight of sorrow and experience that does not belong to a young man. Super Saiyan Vegeta narrows his eyes, recognizing the facial features of Gohan but noting the scars and the mature, battle-hardened posture of the stranger. The man introduces himself as Future Gohan, a traveler from a timeline where the world has already been brought to the brink of extinction. Future Gohan steps forward, his boots crunching on the dry earth as he produces a small vial containing the medicine that will save Goku's life from a heart virus. He speaks of a future where his world was decimated, and how he only survived by tapping into the same legendary power that Goku now fears. Future Gohan explains that he eventually mastered the transformation, turning the mindless rage into a focused tool for justice, which allowed him to finally destroy the androids of his time. This revelation acts as a beacon of hope for the gathered warriors, proving that the legendary curse can be tamed and utilized as a shield for the innocent. The training field becomes a laboratory of power as Future Gohan prepares to guide his father through the perilous journey of self-mastery. Goku sheds his base form as he transforms into Legendary Super Saiyan Goku. Instantly, the environment is warped by a green, pulsating aura that threatens to shatter the tectonic plates beneath their feet. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku towers over the area, his eyes devoid of pupils and his muscles bulging with a grotesque, overflowing strength that drowns out his humanity in a roar of primal fury. Future Gohan does not flinch, his own resolve igniting as he moves to intercept the rampaging behemoth. Future Gohan transitions from his base form as he transforms into Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan. Unlike his father, Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan remains calm, his movements fluid and purposeful as he dodges the chaotic strikes of Legendary Super Saiyan Goku. The Elder Warrior eventually delivers a precise, heavy blow that knocks Legendary Super Saiyan Goku unconscious, forcing the transformation to break before it can cause irreparable damage. Day after day they repeat this cycle of violence and restraint, slowly teaching the Berserker to find a sliver of light within the emerald darkness of his power. 3 years pass in a blur of intense preparation and spiritual growth, the looming threat of the androids serving as a constant motivator for every fighter. Present Gohan watches his future self, with a mixture of awe and determination, his young heart swelling with the desire to fulfill the destiny of the legendary bloodline. He trains until his bones ache, drawing inspiration from the mastery shown by Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan and the progress made by Legendary Super Saiyan Goku. The atmosphere on Earth remains tense but hopeful, as the warriors prepare for the arrival of the mechanical monsters that have already erased one version of their world. The prophesied day arrives with a sudden, jarring spike of energy, as 2 artificial humans descend upon the city to begin their campaign of terror. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku encounters Android 19 and Android 20, but the heart virus that was supposed to kill him strikes earlier due to the strain of his legendary power. However, the medicine provided by Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan has already been administered, and Legendary Super Saiyan Goku stands ready for battle, his body having already recovered from the illness. He stands defiant against the pale, mechanical duo, his resolve hardened by years of training and the knowledge that he is no longer a slave to his own legendary rage. The battle erupts in the streets, the sound of metal clashing against flesh echoing through the concrete canyons of the city. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku easily dismantles Android 19, his movements too fast for the machine's sensors to track as he delivers a finishing blow that reduces the construct to scrap. Meanwhile, Super Saiyan Vegeta engages Android 20, his golden aura illuminating the fear in the artificial eyes of Dr. Gero. The Doctor realizes he is hopelessly outmatched and triggers a series of diversions, managing to escape back to his hidden laboratory to activate his ultimate creations. As the heroes regroup, they are met by a second traveler from the future who accompanies Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan, his hair a striking lavender and his spirit burning with a familiar intensity. This young man is revealed to be Future Trunks, the son of the Saiyan Prince, who has come to aid in the final struggle. Future Trunks exits his base form as he transforms into Super Saiyan Future Trunks. The group learns that the androids in this timeline, 17 and 18, are significantly more powerful than the ones Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan faced, as Dr. Gero adjusted their specifications to account for the strength of the Saiyan defenders. The confrontation with Android 17 and Android 18 is a chaotic, high-speed struggle that tests the limits of the heroes' teamwork and endurance. Realizing that the siblings are nearly invincible when fighting together, Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan and Legendary Super Saiyan Goku coordinate a tactical retreat to lure them into a trap. They utilize the combined efforts of the other fighters, who unleash a blinding series of solar flares to strip the androids of their vision. The mechanical twins stumble back, their inability to sense Ki leaving them vulnerable in the sudden, white-hot darkness of the battlefield. Seizing the opportunity, Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan and Legendary Super Saiyan Goku descend like vengeful gods upon their blinded targets. They pummel Android 17 into the earth, leaving him broken and immobile in a massive crater before turning their combined attention toward his sister. The two legendary warriors position themselves on opposite sides of Android 18, their hands cupped as they charge their ultimate attacks in a synchronized display of emerald light. They fire their Kamehamehas simultaneously, the beams colliding with Android 18 in the center and vaporizing her in a cataclysmic explosion. While Android 17 manages to vanish in the aftermath, the heroes find a hidden floor in the destroyed lab, discovering a new project labeled Cell that signals the start of an even darker chapter.